ready for new and returning shows this month in May on NBC. I'm Darissa White with The Nocturnal, and we have you covered at the NBC Press Junket. So you have a new show. How exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about it, and what is your character? How does your character relate to you?
Well, we play husband and wife, and we're kind of baby boomers that go bust and knock on our adult children's door when we hit rock bottom and have to admit that we're dead broke and need to sell the house and move in with them. So that's kind of the launching pad for the series, and it's a comedy about something that's very real. I mean, in this day and age, either the parents or the kids are experiencing some kind of financial problems, and the kids and parents living together is a very common issue for one reason or another. So this explores the parents' need, and they move in with the kids. And I think that kind of also becomes like a role reversal, which who's the parents and who's the kids, because they tend to parent us. And we tend to still be unable to stay on a budget because we're so happy and we enjoy life so much, and we're very generous people.
And we vape.
Yeah.
It's vaping.
Like the cool parent.
We're
I
totally
think it's completely cool.
Yeah.
And then what about your character?
I mean, he's a laid-back guy who's worked hard but is madly in love with his wife and has been for their entire time. He's happy with his life, even though they've had some financial difficulties. But I think he's an optimist and a very zen guy, to use your descriptions. And he's in many ways the guy I aspire to be.
Wow, this is like an incredibly defining time in my life, and it feels sort of equally matched with this particular job and playing this woman. I mean, I'm kind of like, I've been acutely aware from minute one of this show that I'm never going to have a job like this again. This is like such wish fulfillment to play this woman from her like late teens to her 80s. Like every chapter of her life as a girlfriend and a wife and a mother and a grandmother. And I mean, it kind of like coincides with where I am in my life as a woman and the experiences that have sort of shaped me. So I don't take it lightly. I'm very, very grateful.
All right, so 3 more seasons.
Yeah.
How do you feel? When you first took the role, did you think that it was going to be as popular as it is now?
You never have any idea how popular, how well received a show is ever going to be, but you do your best. And I think what we all knew was we had beautiful writing, we had a talented cast, we had an amazing crew, and when you put that combination together, you guys see what we do. So
Absolutely. And the show touches on every single issue almost imaginable. Why do you think these are important to get out?
I think we're living in a time where we need to all find our similarities. I think we need to understand that we're all going through the same human struggle, and the stories that we're telling, I think, are basically just reflecting a lot of life that we need to see, because it's been kind of like caught under a lot of like heavy worldly stuff. And again, it's like we're all people, we're all human, we all deserve love, we all deserve hope and happiness. So I think it's a good reminder that we need to like look out for those around us, and hopefully those that we pick up can pick us up when we need it.
How excited are you coming to late night television? Talk a little bit about that.
I am so excited. I think the most exciting thing for me is not only the fact that I have a new show, but the amount of support I've received. I've never had a reaction like this to anything I've done. The amount of support, especially from women that are just like, we got your back. It's meant so much to me.
And being a woman of color, there's not a lot of women of color in late night television. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's a little bit of pressure, I throw up sometimes, but real talk, I'm just so grateful to be in this position. And I always think that what better legacy can you leave if not helping to pave the path for other women? There's so many women that have come before me that have helped pave this path for me, and I just want to contribute.
Absolutely. Now, what can you say to, other women of color who are in your industry and who started on YouTube just like you did? What would you say to them just to encourage them?
I would honestly say there's been so many times when there wasn't a seat at the table and I just dragged a chair to the table. Like, that's what you got to do sometimes. If there's not space for you, make the space. Don't be afraid to make the space for yourself.
I love that. Now, what can we expect from your show?
Good vibes, comedy, positivity, a lot of sketch comedy, and just disrupting the space a little bit, you know?
I love it. Thank you so much, Lily. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think for my character, I've had like one of the biggest arcs, like going full circle, my storyline. But, you know, trying to do her job really well, and I think abusing her body because she's overworked, completely just shot to pieces from her job. I think a lot of people in America, whether you're a doctor or whether you have a drug addiction or not, can really relate to that, because we're all now pushing ourselves so much harder, and like the working week is getting longer. So I think for me that's what people are really resonating with, and people who've had addiction problems have messaged me on Instagram and Twitter and everything, and I feel like they felt like they were heard somewhere in our storyline, so that was nice.
Absolutely.
And then I know last time we spoke, your character just developed cancer. You found out you had cancer. What about how's it going now?
It's not going great at the moment for Max, but he is fighting, and it's a really interesting fight to get into because it affects so many people in this country, around the world. And so we're really trying to capture some essence of not just the medicine, but what the sort of mental and emotional toll of that fight is, and which is, interesting stuff to play as an actor. And, yeah.
Yeah, same. I think that's one of the things the writers are doing so well. It's having these stories that people can connect with, as the guy said. And similarly, I've had women contact me saying, oh my God, I've been thinking about freezing my eggs and having a child from a donor and doing it on my own while I pursue my career. And I'm not seeing that represented on television anywhere. So it's nice to feel like, we're connecting on direct matters that are happening in society right now.
I don't know if you can see, but I'm sweating through this.
No, you look great.
You do?
Thank you. Great.
Thanks.
Yes. So, Manifest. Talk about the season. How is it going? I know when you first started, it was like a new show. People really didn't know exactly what it was. How about it?
Well, now it's great because now we get to tell more of the story, which we're so excited about. And now that we know these characters, we've been introduced to these characters. Now, as we go into the second season, we're going to be able to dig deeper into these characters. We're going to see these characters now in the present form. We're going to see some flashback too. We're also going to be able to figure out what happened at the end of that first season with that crazy gunshot. We're going to see what happened with that. We're going to see what happened with the pregnancy. Whose baby is it? And we're going to try to dig more into this mystery and find more answers about what happened to them. We have a ticking clock. We have a death date, 5.5 years. What would you do if you only had 5 years left to live?
Yeah, we actually haven't started filming the second season yet. We go to camera in like a month or so. So we're all kind of excited for those first scripts to come out because we're just as eager to, solve the mystery as everyone else.
How is it on set? What kind of relationships do you guys have?
None of us talk to each other.
This is the only time I actually talk to her unless we have dialogue written for us.
I don't even know her name.
It's
Fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
And you all shoot in New York.
Yeah. We
Yep.
shoot here. We were, in Long Island last year. We have no idea where we're going to be this year, but it's been good. New York is an awesome city.
Is there any kind of like sneak peeks that you could tell us what's going to happen? I know that you said that you're kind of involving this mystery and everything, but what can you tell us?
I mean, Elizabeth Marvel kind of came in as the major at the end of last season, so I think we'll see her kind of diving in with us as well. But, other than that, just kind of what he said of figuring out what happens with this death day that we've been given and trying to, either stop it or what you would do with that time left.
That's exactly right, yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you talking to the Nocturnal. So how exciting is this? A new show coming to NBC. Talk a little bit about each one of your characters and what you portray.
Well, Cassie, what do you start with?
Oh, I play a lady called Cassie Bedford. I think they settled on that for the last name. They went through about 7. And I work at a bar, but I also see ghosts. And my mother was a clairvoyant as well, and she didn't handle it so well, and she passed away when I was young. So I've got this tension with it, like, you know, I didn't ask for this. Why have I been lumped with it? And I occasionally see things that I think will be helpful to these guys in police work. So I pass on information, and that's what keeps us working together throughout the season. Yeah.
My character is Damien Asante. He comes to Seattle, which is where our show is based, and under kind of duress, I would say. But he partners up with Tom Hackett, which is his character, and he has a great reputation. But through that, he starts to learn his methods of solving crimes. And it's up to Damien to, decide whether or not that's something that he's gelling with or not. And through the process of the season, you'll see.
It's a crime drama. It has this supernatural twist to it, and what I like is that blend between the real life crimes that clearly happen and then how that leads to this very unresolved world of the in-between, where some of perhaps the victims are residing, that Cassie's character Cassie can see, and trying to solve the crimes through sort of our real life methods, but then also being assisted by the sort of the supernatural methods, the element of that. It's just this nice little blend of the this and the that and everything in between. And then also it's the familial aspect of it. Myself and my husband are adoptive parents of Cassie, so there's that side too, that sort of character element, the family element, which is also always nice to explore because, let's face it, there's a lot of conflict in families. So, so resolving that in this very complicated world of the risks that she's going through, but kind of the help that she gives us is obviously very useful. And then, of course, Mr. Cynical guy at the beginning is like, what's all this? It's like, all right, I don't expect you to believe it. Yeah, so it's a night, the triumvirate of the three of us is it's a nice blend of all those aspects. So.
Absolutely. And with it being supernatural, have you all ever experienced any supernatural events in your lifetime?
I had none, and then I met a medium at an event like this. She just kind of came up to me, and that changed everything because she saw someone with me that she couldn't have known about. And so that just changed my whole worldview. And so that, when I went in to shoot the show, then I had this newfound belief, which really made me feel very, I don't know. I was just lucky. I felt like it was a gift to meet that lady. But how about you?
I don't know. My entire life feels like a supernatural event.
Yeah.
I'm being guided by something. I'm not sure what, but it feels like there's a hand on my shoulder. And I can't say that I have any experience with that, directly. But something's in the air, I'll tell you that.
So you believe it?
Yes.
So what makes the flowers bloom? Something. You can't put your hand on it, can you? But something supernatural. So, that whatever the laws of the universe are that create this thing that we're standing in, it's happening. It's irrefutable. So there's clearly a force around us, which is a greater power. But in terms of have you ever seen ghosts? I had a dear friend that passed away way too young, and he was always popping up left, right, and centre. So, be like, all right, Scott, all right, mate, come on. I'm getting used to it, but it's still a bit weird. Please. Nice to see you, though, mate. So there's a lot of that in this world.